for us to choose to love, we need to be willing to use God's standard of loving as a yardstick for our love relationships. Whether it is marriage, whether it is dating, whether it is a serious relationship that leads to marriage, the time to work on ourselves is also giving us the empowerment through His grace that we may work on ourselves and align to His plan. And I think if we are to make our relationship, our marriages, our courtships, our dating functional, it's when we allow all those that we come into contact with in the name of love, let's give them chance. Hello and welcome to Expansion Revolution Nuggets. I am OJ Matthew. I am so excited to be talking to you. We believe that these podcasts are building you, encouraging you wherever you are, and helping you to fall in love with Jesus, and above all, to become the best version of yourself. Because I tell you, God takes the praise when your life is aligned to His plan. And it is the plan of God that as much as we are here and we are serving Him, we should also enjoy our life in the process of serving Him. And one of the things that it makes it possible for us to enjoy life is when we are loved right and we are treated right and we feel valued and we are with people that value us. It is so amazing how the love of God flows into our hearts through other people and through how they treat us. As a matter of fact, people can just show you how important to God you are by how they treat you. And today, as I close this session on choosing how to love, I want to close it with a very strong biblical opinion on love, that for us to choose to love, we need to be willing to use God's standard of loving as a yardstick for our love relationships. Whether it is marriage, whether it is dating, whether it is a serious relationship that leads to marriage, if your love relationship has to work at every step, dating, relationship or courtship, or in your marriage, it needs to allow the yardstick of God, which is how God loves, to permeate your being and your understanding of love. No one can love better than God. And if you want to use a yardstick of how you should love your partner, your husband, or your wife, is allow the model of Jesus' love towards us to be the guidance that you can follow in your life. Nothing is more permanent and more reliable like the love of God. As a matter of fact, when we want to do, if we want to do well, we need to try to learn, and I'm using the word try at a very intentional level. At least try. You are not God. You may never be at the same status as with God, but you can try to learn certain attributes of displaying love by trying to mimic how God loves you. As a matter of fact, you can take some of the examples of how God loves us as individuals and then use them to love your partner. Look at God. He doesn't ask you where you come from. He doesn't ask you, what have you done? He says to you, you can become better. You see, that's one of the reasons why we fall in love with Jesus, is that instead of, looking us down on us and mocking us about our past sins, He tells us, you can get out of that mess. And I think that's one way in which you can encourage your partner. When you see your partner, behaving in a way that is not acceptable, one of the ways you can help him is not necessarily to judge him, but is to assure him that he can get out of that behavior. And that behavior does not represent who he is. It may be the behavior that he happened to fall in. I think one of the ways in which we can keep our relationship and our marriage functional is when we choose to love the way God loves. And that includes willingness to give other people a chance. I can tell you, you can be successful in any type of a love relationship, from dating to courtship to marriage, without giving yourself chance to forgive other people, to tolerate certain things that may take time for people to change them. I mean, irrespective of whoever you meet is going to be having certain things that they are working on. So all of us are work in progress. Be willing to give other people chance to work on themselves and to improve. This is what God is giving us through the grace. He's not only giving us the grace, the time to work on ourselves, He's also giving us the empowerment through His grace that we may work on ourselves and align to His plan. And I think if we are to make our relationship, our marriages, our courtships, our dating functional, it's when we allow all those that we come into contact with in the name of God, let's give them chance to align themselves with God's plan, getting the empowerment that comes from the grace of God, which will help them to become the best version of themselves. I mean, if you want to make your love work, do it God's way. And sometimes doing it God's way means you may need to wait. I mean, sometimes it takes time for people to find the right love. Yeah. Here on earth, sometimes we experience issues. Sometimes it's betrayal. Sometimes it's meeting the wrong partner. Sometimes it's meeting people with different values. Give yourself a break and allow God to lead you until you find the right love. I can tell you it's better to wait rather than to get into a love relationship that tomorrow causes you pain and, distress and, you regret and experience remorse. And so sometimes it's best to wait. The love of God is patient. That's one of the characteristics of love. And